Welcome to Owner Operator Probability. And today I'm making a video because a few days ago I had a person come over to me. I was cleaning out my truck. He said he want to ask me a couple of questions. I'm currently signed on with the carrier, and he was asking in particular about that carrier. He drives for a company right now. He wants to buy a 1999 truck, wants to know if that's year is accepted by my carrier. Well, my truck is a 2019, so even by California car regulation, I don't have much to worry about because it has the clean air sticker. I told him I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to look into it, but there are some finer points that I understand that I wanted to tell him to consider buying any vehicle. And I say the first being is the engine over 1,000,000 miles. So we'll get to that in a second. But first, you need to look at your overall debt. Do you have a lot of credit cards, loans, things like that? Are you renting? Do you own a home? Is your home paid for? The less debt you have, the better you're going to do. And then let's talk about working capital. How much money do you have to work with? I recommend that you have at least 10 to 15,000 after buying the vehicle. So if you finance and they want you to put, let's say they want you to put $10,000 down, you would still need another 10 to 15,000. So that means you would have to walk in that deal with 25,000 to put 10,000 down. Now, if you're desperate, times are tight, you want to take that leap of faith, okay, I understand, go for it. But just keep in mind that you don't know the condition of a used truck. So you're going to have maintenance. You may have maintenance issues, and you don't know if it's going to be the motor or just other external components. I already spoke about California car regulation, that they created a 12-year time span that's going to roll off every year. So it's going to be no older than 12 years based on the current year, and nothing over 1,000,000 miles. Now, the one thing is, buying a used truck, it might be rebuilt. You're going to want to know the service history of that truck, and knowing the engine gear, how many miles, running the ECM, making sure there are no codes on it, making sure the suspension is good, hoping that that radiator is in good shape. These types of inspections should be done. And then a difference in authority. If you want to sign on with the company or run your own authority, obviously there's going to be a big difference in pay. As when it comes to being paid line haul, a lot of guys are familiar with getting paid per mile, and they do have companies that pay per mile as a carrier. I mean, as an owner operator, but if you don't understand that part of the business, it'd be best for you to sign on instead of start your own business. Because as soon as you walk in the door, especially a company that pays you percentage, you're going to get more involved with what the freight charges are, and you'll have a little better understanding, especially after you get used to your fuel expenses. Equipment, what are you going to haul? I made this channel to try to help people understand how to buy vehicles. And it's not exactly that simple, but I don't feel that there's any person that's going to stop me from the market. And then the fact that there's other types of equipment. Like right now I'm pulling drive in, but If dry van became too saturated, I could look at other equipment types. How is intermodal doing right now? How is refrigerated doing right now? And just knowing what you want to haul. Some people haul dump trucks, it just depends on what you're trying to do. So, equipment, if you know you don't have a trailer, you're going to want to either start your own business as power only, which is just your tractor, and pull other people's trailers, sign on with a carrier that has a trailer, or also buy a trailer, you know. And like I said, knowing the market, knowing the average rates, and those are things you can Google at any time. But one thing I want to add in here that I forgot to say is um, where you buy the vehicle is going to make a huge difference in your level of experience. The guy that asked me about that 1999, I told him I'm not sure because I'd had to ask last time. I don't have an old truck, but I'm pretty sure that you can because there are still people with older vehicles. It's just more about if your engine is under 1 million miles and things like that. But where you buy the vehicle, if you go to a dealer, most likely the average dealer is saying 20% down unless you go through a dealer like I went through a dealer where you could put $3,000 to $5,000 down. But the difference there is the finance charge is gonna be bigger, and you still have to turn in a business plan. There are other sources that you can buy a truck, but you have to still know what you're doing to get approved for financing. Or you could pay for it outright. But going through the auctions, uh, if you can qualify through an auction to buy a truck, will make a huge difference. But also keep in mind this one thing. After you buy the truck, if you aren't familiar with how to register the truck and things like that, which I had stated in one of my other videos, your IFTA registration, um, semi trucks, you can get a temporary 30-day registration through your state, and that's something to keep in mind. If you really know how to start your own business, but you can't afford to pay $2,500 initially to get your plates, but you think you can get moving in 30 days and you open your own DOT authority, I'm sure that when you go through the weigh station, you're going to have to bring in your paperwork because they'll wonder why you don't have a plate on your vehicle, or you'll have the little tag in your windshield. But still, there are ways to go about it. And if you have any questions on that, just go ahead and feel free to send it to me. But just keep in mind that it doesn't matter what year your truck is, especially because California is the main state with that regulation, and you can still run an older engine. Then there's a lot of guys with deleted trucks running straight pipes, but you're still going to want to stay mindful and look into the regulations. So go ahead and shoot any messages you have for me. I hope that this information helps you in your decision if this is right for you. Some people would rather drive company and not deal with all of the paperwork and be in a situation where you can quit and walk away. And I say that's probably the biggest difference. You have to know if you're good with your money